This is the FM Gold channel of All India Radio. In the program News Analysis, we now bring you a discussion on Lok Adalts for speedy disposal of cases. The participants are Dr. Surat Singh, Advocate, Supreme Court, and Satya Prakash, Legal Editor, Hindustan Times.
In an unprecedented exercise undertaken across the country, Lok Adalts on Saturday settled 30 lakh cases across India in a single day. This is likely to ease pressure on the court system, which is struggling to clear the backlog of over 3 crore cases. Dr. Surat Singh, tell us, what is Lok Adalat and how does it function?
Lok Adalat, Satya Prakash, as the name itself indicates, is people's court, means where the people come before a judge and settle the issue. They have already given their consent that the decision of that judge would be binding on them. So one important thing is that there is no appeal against it. So as opposed to any judgment by high court or lower court, one appeal after another is very time consuming. In this case, once you agree to Lok Adalat, that is a final and binding decision. It's much more like in old times we used to have panchayats. There would be a panchayat, people will go there and panch will decide. So pretty much on the same line where people can speak on their own language, in a non-technical, non-legal language, and they can present their problem, provided they have already agreed in advance that the decision of the judge would be binding on both the parties. And in some cases they're extremely helpful. Say for example, in MACT cases, where somebody has met the accident. Now if you go in a routine manner, then first you go to the MACT, then there's an appeal in High Court, then there's an appeal in Supreme Court, and it takes a lot of time, many years. But now supposing somebody says that, okay, in this injury, both parties agreed that 2 lakhs are to be given, there and then it's very easy for the both parties. So it saves time, it saves effort, it also saves cost, because you don't have to engage very expert lawyers in this, and in many cases it can be very effective.
But how does a case go to the Lok Adalat? Who has to take the initiative?
Well, initiative can be taken either by the parties concerned. They can write to the court that we want this case to be referred to Lok Adalat. Both of them can make a joint application. Or the court itself during the litigation can ask both parties that should we refer it to Lok Adalat, and if they agree, court can refer it. In many cases, mediation, arbitration, others are also done. Particularly in Delhi High Court, I have seen that some judges are really very good in handling the matters very quickly. When they see that it's a family matter about property dispute, so they say, okay, why don't you sit together and sort it out? And in many cases, the problem gets sorted out. And once it gets sorted out, there is no further appeal. So these are very effective methods, which because there is so much pending of cases, there was need for such thing. And it is working very well.
In fact, on Saturday, 39 lakh cases were taken up across India. Out of the 39 lakh cases, it is reported that around 30 lakh cases were disposed of in one single day. And given the fact that 65,893 cases are pending in the Supreme Court, around 40 lakh cases are pending in various high courts, and around 2.68 crore cases are pending in various district courts. So overall, it's more than 3 crore cases which are pending across India. And in this scenario, the fact that 30 lakh cases were disposed of in one single day, it's a huge achievement. Also because most of the cases cannot be appealed against. It's a final thing.
Yes.
Because both the parties, they have agreed upon the settlement. Can it be a kind of substitute for the court system? Why I'm asking it, because court system is in a way clogged, and there are lots of cases pending, and the procedural delays, and sometimes one case takes decades.
First of all, Lok Adalats are supplementary and not substitute of regular courts. For example, a murder case cannot be settled in a Lok Adalat. There are certain restrictions and limitations.
Can you explain what kind of cases can be referred to Lok Adalat?
Say, for example, in Delhi High Court, 3 lakhs cases were settled. And what happened then, out of them, 10,000 cases were landlord-tenant cases. About 50,000 cases were motor accident tribunal cases. So those kind of cases where both parties agree and some kind of solution immediately is possible. Say, for example, in case of landlord-tenant, both parties agree. Supposing tenant says, give me 6 months and give me this much amount of money and I'll leave. So that can be decided. Similarly, in MACT, if both parties say that, okay, the party which is injured decides that instead of waiting for 10 years, the party is getting now 2 lakhs. And after 20 years, he will get 5 lakhs. He will better say, give me 2 lakhs now and I go. So, those kind of cases, generally these are what we call small cases. And as you have said, 3 crores cases are pending and 30 lakhs makes 10% of that. Right now we have about 16,000 trial courts. We have 21 high courts and we have of course one Supreme Court. So 3 crores cases are pending before all this infernalia. Now 10% can be sold in a day. So this is a remarkable achievement and in fact it's a world record that in a single day 30 lakhs cases are sold. To that extent, it's a really very healthy development. That's why Chief Justice said that let's make it an annual event that every year
we'll organize
Supreme Court, High Court and various district courts. And then apart from judges, these senior lawyers and others can sit there for a day, those who, agree to be judges. So a lot of manpower is also available, which is otherwise unused. So in a sense that it has demonstrated that when there is a will and if you have already done your homework, then a lot of things can be done at a very fast speed, even in India.
Apart from Lok Adalats, quite often it's talked about alternative dispute resolution mechanism, including conciliation, arbitration, mediation. How far these mechanisms can help us achieve the goal of clearing the backlog?
See, as Article 39 of the Constitution says that speedy justice and equal access to justice is a fundamental right. And Supreme Court in Husanara Khatun case and another cases also said that free legal aid is also part of that.
Court has said that it's part of Article 21.
Right to live with human dignity, right to live with life, liberty. Now, respecting Article 39A of the Constitution, this National Legal Authority was constituted in 90s. And then we have state legal authorities also, which help very well in organizing these. As far as role of mediation and arbitration is concerned, as you have rightly pointed out that they are not the substitute for the courts, but they are much more supplementary. And they are extremely helpful because Delhi High Court has original jurisdiction. So the civil suits about 20 lakhs can straight away come to High Court. So in so many cases, many judges have done a great job by asking both the parties to come together and solve it instead of dragging the case for years, by sending them to mediation center, by finding an arbitrator. Now, these are very helpful. Fundamental thing is, what is the difference between, let's say, why you don't settle your thing at home instead of coming to court, if everything can be done amicably. Like brother and brother fight. At home they fight when they come to High Court, and High Court says, okay, settle it between yourself by next date or else we will pass this order. Then there is a pressure, timeline also. So similarly, mediation, arbitration, conciliation, all these are extremely helpful in aiding and in addition to the normal courts. There are certain cases which can be done by mediation, arbitration, and of course through Lok Adalts. But then there are categories of cases which cannot be done. For example, as I already said, heinous crime, where the punishment is more than 7 years and all that. So there are certain categories which cannot go before Lok Adalts, and where the regular court giving proper opportunity to the other side and looking at the evidence has to decide the cases. But there are not many cases which can be decided through Lok Adalts, and if 30 lakhs cases can be disposed in a day, then imagine 10% in a day. So instead of Chief Justice has said, let's make it annual, I would rather recommend that make it twice a year or thrice a year kind of event.
Why the CJI talked about making it an annual affair, or why you are suggesting?
Because it's a lot of work.
A lot of work.
And a lot of homework is required before you really dispose of the cases.
And it will help reducing the burden on the main court system.
Absolutely.
But what is the root cause behind this clogging of the court system?
Ratio to the population. If you see USA, it's 100. In India, it's 13 only per 10 lakh people. Some lawyers from America came and I asked them that what they find striking about India. They say numbers, numbers and numbers. Everywhere there are so many people, no matter where they go. So resources are limited and numbers are more. And of course in courts also the same thing. Same thing with the hospitals and all that. You see people standing in line. Same thing in other facilities also. So when we have such a large number of cases and so few judges and so few limited resources are even assigned to it. Like National Legal Authority, the budget is just few crores. So resources are limited, human power are limited, and even those human power are not best utilized. For example, we have 1 million lawyers as per Bar Council, 10 lakhs lawyers enrolled with Bar Council. Some of them are extremely competent people. they can be requested, particularly senior advocates, to do the job of judge, part-time basis, or let's say for 3 months or 6 months, a person can be appointed as a temporary judge. And many people are willing to do that. So that will help to reduce the burden. Then double shift can be done, infrastructure can be. Ministry of Law and Justice has to pay more attention to provide infrastructure and resources so that there are more judges and more courts can function.
You talked about the judge population ratio, and you said in India it's hardly 13 judges per 10 lakh people. But who is responsible for that? Why? Because the appointments in the High Court and Supreme Court, it is not with the government. It is with the collegium system. And in most of the high courts, if you take the total number of judges, it's almost 1/3 of the posts are vacant.
Even when the collegium have recommended appointment of judges of high court, government has taken so much time to appoint them. I was talking to earlier Chief Justice A.S. Anand. He told me that he recommended several judges for appointment of high court. Judges now under the new system can be appointed by a collegium. But it's the government which has to appoint.
No, that kind of thing has not happened.
If we are really serious about dispensation of justice and speedy justice, then Indian government has to come out with more money in this area. As I said, National Legal Service Authority, only 6 crores has been assigned as a budget. So it's amazing that with such a limited budget, Chief Justice and other judges are to be congratulated that they have done such an outstanding job of solving 30 lakhs cases in a day. Imagine if there are more resources, how much better, how much more can be done.
What about trial courts? Trial courts also, around 3,000 posts are vacant. And trial court appointments are under the high courts.
See, the thing is, kindly appreciate this. Infrastructure, providing them housing, providing them vehicles, that is not done by High Court. High Court makes a recommendation. Chief Justice makes a recommendation. But the money comes from government, either state government or the central government, depending on the case. So trial courts are under the state government. So money comes from government.
In fact, Supreme Court of India is hearing a PIL on this matter, and they are on a regular basis they are monitoring the augmentation of infrastructure and the number of judges, basically in trial courts.
Right. Satya Prakash ji, in India we are in a habit of pointing out problems and complaints, but we should also focus on our achievements and remarkable achievements. So solving 30 lakhs cases, in America it will call 3 million cases in a day, is an all-time record for any country on the face of earth. And our Chief Justice of India and other judges and all those who participate in Lok Adalats deserve to be congratulated that they have done a great job, and we hope that it will continue on more continual basis.
This is all the more important because this is achieved cheapest and speedy justice. So that way, from a common man's point of view, it's all the more important.
Absolutely.
Let's hope that it works out properly. Whatever CJ has said, that it will be made an annual kind of event. And 30 lakh cases being cleared in one go, in one day. Let's hope that it will be organized at least twice a year.
And we hope that it will continue on more continual basis.
Thank you, Dr. Singh.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on Lok Adalats for speedy disposal of cases. The participants were Dr. Surat Singh, Advocate, Supreme Court, and Satya Prakash, Legal Editor, Hindustan Times. It came to you in the program News Analysis, produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. This program is also available on our website newsonair.nic.in. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.